What's going on, guys? JSGC 171, and we're here for a new game starting Europa Universalis 4, or EU4 if people like to call it, starting up a game playing as England, which will eventually become Britain. I'm doing a multiplayer here with my brother also, so if you're wondering why his face is on the thumbnail too, well, he's playing too. He's also doing the colonial nation of Portugal. So you'll see the progress of what I'm doing. You'll also see me nip down, see what he's doing. And if you see Portugal involved in a lot of my wars, that's why. And you see me involved a lot in Portugal's wars again, that's why. We use each other as an ally. It kind of makes the game a little bit, well, yeah, it makes it a little bit easier, but it also makes it a lot more fun. Also, you know, not being just sat there on your own playing a game, but playing it with me and my brother. So yeah, it's cool. Now, we're in ×5, so it's just into quick motion. We'll just see how it goes, because quite frankly, you will be here forever if you're watching me do a multiplayer. I'm not in control of the mouse, because I let my brother always host, so he's always in charge of the mouse, and he's forever planning. So you're basically seeing two countries, and it takes not twice as long, but it takes a lot longer than just a normal single player where you're in control. Now, for where I'm at with Britain, you can see where the territory is based. Rather straightforward. Got bits of territory into France. Eventually you'll have war with France. France will want that back. I want to expand into France. So it's a match made in heaven, we'll be going at that. But for now I'm just trying to build up to get maximum sized army, building up all the trade, make sure I'm doing okay with all that, make sure my navy's at full capacity, making sure we're in a strong position that if we do end up in a big war that you are there. Now, first bit of advice is get yourself some powerful allies. You see me improving relations with Austria. We all know where that one's going, don't we? I'm also building up relations with Savoy, perhaps to get an ally with them if needed, end up in with a war with France, who knows with that one. But Austria is the main one that I'm after. I want an ally with Austria. Got one with Portugal, you got one with me. I'm looking to get one with Austria, so I'll build it up and then get another major nation. As you can tell, we're all building up here to a war that I'm expecting with France. With war with France. France are that powerful. You know, it's really difficult to defeat France. But you got to keep France on the down low if you want to be dominant in Europe, like I'm planning to. That's very, very important, because France can build up their manpower incredibly quickly. They tend to use a lot of mercenaries. Manpower is ridiculous. Their regrouping is ridiculous. So you need to kind of keep it squished, if you get what I mean. Like, if you see a war happening in Europe and you want in their territory a war with them, you've got to let them kind of slug it out, then capitalise upon that. That's the chance we're looking for. But in the immediate future, I'm expecting War of the Roses, which at the moment I have a king with a 0-0-0, which is bad. That's awful. It puts you way behind in technology, which is not what's needed. So I'm having to kind of whore up the points at the moment to try and maintain that I don't fall backwards in technology, and try and maintain myself with the rest of Europe. Eventually that'll come rest of the world. You want to be maintaining that you're the best in the technology, so you don't want to be wasting points. So relatively quite boring to start with the game, because I'm not being overly aggressive, because with the War of the Roses, you never know how War of the Roses is going to go. Sometimes it can be dead quick, which is good, and sometimes it can be really, really, you know, drag on. We're talking, I've seen it go 5-10 years before really drains the country of all its manpower. It ends up being not nice. But that's the problems with England. But once you've ended up taking all the territory that you want, then you can really expand to your colonial. Now, I have done this before, and it's up to you if you want to do it, where you just cede the territory where you have in France, give it to France, and leave it. You probably lose a war with them. But they have the guaranteed independence with Scotland, so you do need to beat France, in my opinion, to try and get Scotland in your grasp. So you just need one war win with France, whenever that may come, so you can then take Scotland. Now, there's more Irish miners than what there used to be in the game, but what I'm used to is I've not played this game in a little while, particularly England, so you need to really be on top and capitalise, because them Irish ones will make allies, and eventually they'll make allies with Scotland too. So you need to really just move on in, and that's where we're at with this game. So we're anticipating War of the Roses at some point, and I'm anticipating War in Ireland, hence the title, War in Ireland for Part 1. Now, Scotland probably won't come anytime soon, war with them, because, well, I've got bigger fish to fry. I have my eyes on France, Ireland, and my own country with civil dispute with the War of the Roses. You may see me just click up before onto the cultural side, where if you go on your technologies into the top, and you just click the button right at the top, you'll see it pop up that you've got the Renaissance coming up. 1450 to look out for. That will pop up at some point in 1450. Normally in Italy, I've been informed. I'm not used to it. I've never come across it before. I don't even know what it's called. That's how bad I am. I've forgotten the name of what it's called. But I'm no virgin to the game. I do know how the game works. I do know how to utilize the game. So, you know, I'm not completely bad at the game, but I'm just not used to the new updates with that. So we'll just see what happens with that one in 1450. Apparently it takes a little while for it all to kick into action, and it's like cultural and ideas and stuff like that come from Italy, which is true in real life. You had a lot of the philosophers are Italian. A load of the ideas and the explorers, again, mainly linked with Spain and Italy. So, you know, for the time where it is, it's really advanced in its time. So I think that's where the game's kind of lingering with it, I hope, but I don't know. You see the flame at the top, that is the War of the Roses, that it's linking with the civil dispute. Now, being a Lancashire lad myself, it's always ideal for me to back the House of Lancaster, but I have been known to back the House of York because I'm a traitor, because, well, beneficial to me, better kings, etc, etc, that's what will happen. Now, I just like to keep an eye on how all the countries are doing in terms of size of army and navy, just to give you kind of go-to point on where everything is at. That's really what we're aiming for here. So I just want to know how well everyone's doing. So I like to kind of be in the top 5 at all times. Sometimes you can't help it with war, but the general idea when you're at full strength, I like to be at least in the top 5 for armies. Now, England isn't one of the biggest countries, unfortunately. So there you go. Now, at the moment when I was doing this one, I drew up some numbers, drew up some figures, and I was anticipating maybe having a war with Burgundy rather than France. That was put out of the window once I checked the army sizes of all their allies and vassals, etc, etc. It ended up building up to just under 50,000 men, 48,000 men, against my petite 30 plus thousand. Portugal was in no situation for war, being miles and miles away. Allies of Austria weren't willing to negotiate and come in. Castile weren't willing to come in, which is Spain. If you were wondering who Castile are, you'll have the Iberian wedding at some point with Castile and Aragon, which will see Aragon become a vassal of Spain and make Spain become a really powerful country. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't, and Spain forms, sometimes it, you know, by force, sometimes it's forced, normally diplomatically like that, and Spain normally end up taking territory also in Italy, so it makes Spain a major game threat. But that's for another time. France are my main concern. A war with Burgundy is just not going to happen, I'm not going to beat it. Now, problematic for me is France have allied themselves with the Ottomans, but the Ottomans are a world away. So as long as we limit France, oh, here we go. But as long as you limit France, that's the kind of major bit to it. We've just gone through War of the Roses, so we had back the House of Lancaster. We had a little uprising in Yorkshire, so I'll keep all my men up in and around there because they get support from places. We have a new heir. It's the end of the War of the Roses. Still do me. March our men back down south. Very quick! That's key to the game now. That's just made me a major player. My army's not been destroyed. It's not dragged on. We can move on from it now. We've got some kings in place. We can build up our technology. So we're up and rolling. The kings died relatively early. I have known it drag on 30 plus years before you end up getting a bad War of the Roses, and it sets England back about 30, 40 years. Really bad. I've not been set back at all here. I feel like the chains have come off here for me to really expand now the country into Ireland before having the inevitable war with France. Which is always nice. Now, I like to watch Ireland kind of see its direction that it's going in, let them all have the little minor disputes, then I come in like the big daddy and just gulf up their territory. Now, second bit of advice for anyone that's covering any bit of Europa when you take territory, because it takes up all your points, coring everywhere, and if you want to change its culture, stuff like that, just takes up a load of points. So don't do it. I tend to set up a vassal, one vassal, give them all the land. I give it them for free because I'm kind and nice. You can give it them for money, but I don't know what that'll do for the liberty desire and them wanting to be free from you or not, but use their land. Take the Irish land, give it to one of the Irish states, which is Ulster for me. Friendly relation improvements for them. Vassal of them. Give them all the land in Ireland. Then when needed, I can just annex the vassal and it'll all just become part of mine. Once all the culture, once all of the coring's taken place. You know, I've used up very little points. I'm onto a winner. I also have a vassal who can help me out in war without me going over the limits for my army. So it's all a win-win situation, if you get what I mean. We're just seeing Portugal going to war here in Morocco. You'll see my brother go to war twice in North Africa. Also with Flamacon, I think the name is something like that. It's Algeria, I know them as. And he also with war with Morocco, so we'll just see how far he can go and take it with Portugal. As he's told me he's looking to move south down Africa to gain his first bit of territory for when he inevitably gets the quest for the New World. I've been set back with technology. I'm a fair bit away from getting the quest for the New World and getting the ideas up. Couldn't give you a time limit because I don't know how long it's going to take. I'm a little bit of a warmonger myself. I kind of like to just forever go at war. Tick off the mindless, stupid countries. Pick on countries when they're most vulnerable. I particularly like picking on small countries to end up with big countries, and then just once that happens, normally I like to have powerful allies that we can all go gung-ho. It has gone wrong a couple of times. It is a bit of a complex tactical game, this, but we'll just see. I have been smacked before. I've smacked countries before. I've built up the countries like anything before. With England, it's kind of difficult because I kind of always like to go abroad and dominate the colonial side of it. I'm here looking for a challenge, which I've never done myself, which is make Britain and England a major game power in Europe. So there you go. The Renaissance is hit 1450, dead early into January. Slowly but surely, the culture and the acceptance of the Renaissance will come in over time. The rate that it goes at, for me, goes at about, I think it's like 1%. Just over a year, I think, or something silly like that. Hopefully it'll speed up. Because once it comes accepted, you know, you get all sorts of benefits. You get production price going down, you trade deals being better into your favour. So more money means more power. So there you go. I'm just improving relations with Siena because that's where it's all kicked off there. Whilst I've got an advisor free, we'll use it for that. Kind of makes sense, kind of obvious, but Sometimes you just got to point out the obvious. So just having a click through, you can see all the ones that come into it. You got colonialism coming up, which I imagine will hit in the 16th century sometime when all the colonies started building up. Wouldn't surprise me if it is the next one in 1500, but there you go. Bit of a history buff myself, do enjoy a lot of history, so I like to break history rather than follow something that happened in real life. I like to set my own. Now, you may be wondering what I'm doing here, transferring the ships. I've stopped them protecting trade on the English Channel after bringing down all the North Sea and English Channel trade there. Well, I'm moving my men across over to Ireland. Why? Because like the title says, I promised war in Ireland. I'm wanting to expand upon my vassal with Ulster, so we'll head to war with the little green country just south of where my territory is, in Dublin. I think that is, might not be, I don't know. I know it is Meath, sorry, but I think it's called Pale now. I don't know, guys. I don't know why they changed the names. It used to be Meath for ages, but there you go. This is a relatively straightforward war. I feel like we've already won the war. Little tip, you just see a button that I just pressed there. That breaks apart the army to tell you how many you need to siege, so you can just move your men back up into your territory without it using too much manpower. That's very important. Remember to do that when sieging. I find it particularly easy and quick if you're sieging land without castles like that as well, rather than just using stacks. Just split the stacks. But what's needed for the siege, take the land, merge it all back together, go back to your own territory, and wait. Play the waiting game. Remember, let the armies and their men come to you. Don't you go meeting them. I'm a culprit for that. You see me do it a lot. That's my tip to you. I don't take my own advice because I'm bad. But if possible, go on the defensive. Let them siege their land. Take their land first. Let them come back and get the land back. Meet them in a defensive battle. Stand a much better chance, particularly if you're a similar sized army with similar sized technology. Also, make sure your generals are okay. I have 2 stars. I also like to use my heirs and kings, particularly if the king's not very good. My 0-0-0, just a classic. Shove him in charge of the army, and if you're at war, get him in there. Let's get him dead. Have an heir though. Have an heir. If you've got a powerful heir, I'll avoid using them for that. I mean, the better the heir is with the army technology, the better general they're going to make. If you've got a 0-0-0, I just like them just to be dead as quickly as possible. Because they're not aiding me in any way. The only thing they're doing is slowing me down. Can't be doing with that one. Get out. But war with the green country done. Love to tell you that I know the name, but I don't. So how many miners are brought into islands? I'm not used to it, so I'm not used to it. I'm used to having Leinster and Connaught and Tyrone. So, yeah. Oh, hello. France are getting their ass handed to them by Burgundy. Right, we could have war soon. We'll pick on the loser. Ha! This is just the opportunity we've been waiting for, ladies and gentlemen. This is the perfect opening now into France or Burgundy and expanding upon the territories that I already have in France. Excellent, perfect. We've got it into fast motion. If you're wondering how much game content's here, we're looking at about 2.5 hours worth put into a video. Like, I didn't want to split this into 4 or 5 parts going slowly at it. I mean, watching me debate over war isn't enjoyable. Watching me going into war is a little bit more enjoyable. Watching me contemplate, get my tactics right, me speak through it, commentate over it, and go for it is okay. It's fun watching France getting their ass handed to them, if I'm honest with you. No, to be honest with you, it's always fun watching France get destroyed. There's something rather pleasing about it, if I'm honest with you. Nothing against France or anything, but they're so powerful in the game, so annoying. I've had so many conflicts with them. It's enjoyable watching them disintegrate. So I need to put them down. Me and the other countries, of course. Can't just do it single-handedly, not yet. We have war again in Ireland, so we're just going at them again. It's Tyrone, and also the Red Country there. Looking to take them, so split the army into two, take both bits of land like that. There's Little Siege. Now you'll see what's happening here is I was fearful of that army heading back down south, so I, really watched it over, but they kind of went stagnant. Drawn in the army now from Tyrone. Now it's just up to me to defeat them. And then kind of this war is done, we're just on a siege mission, waiting for the French and Burgundy war to be over with. Then we'll be moving in on the conclusion of this Irish war. Hopefully the Burgundy war will be done. As soon as that hits the conclusion, I'll head in, and we'll see then how far we can get. You can see Portugal's gained a little bit of land there in Morocco, so Ireland's had some success in Northern Africa, which is good. It's always nice to see your allies doing well, particularly if you have no interest in their land, which I don't. I have no real interest in Castile's land either, so I'm not really about them. I'm after France, and then we'll just see where we're going to Europe. I have had my eye, I'll be honest with you, on Scandinavia. Whether I go there or not is another matter for another time, a lot further in. At the moment, it's just focused on war in Ireland, in France, and then we'll hit on the colonial, and we'll head abroad. Because I don't want to fall too far behind in the colonial, because that's just a disaster. All of a sudden, the trade pulls of the West Indies goes to other countries. I fall behind on trade. I'm not earning as much money, makes me not as powerful. You've always got to be on your game, you've always got to be on your toes with this game. It's a little bit annoying. Can't have war at the moment with France, can't declare it even if the war is done, because the Allies won't join whilst I'm at war, not wanting to get involved whilst I'm in two wars that I've declared myself. It's not a defensive war, it'll be an offensive war by me. It's nice to see that I've got a king with some technology powers. Not the greatest of kings, but not too bad. We've got an heir who's in a similar position. The war with Burgundy looks done. Yeah, so we've just got to wait for the conclusion on my Irish war. We're going to head south into France. I'll be launching my invasion next to Spain because I like to keep and be close to my allies as possible. It's just suicide, if I'm honest with you, to go in northern France and be split off from the rest, because they'll just beat me up, basically. That's another important advice. If you're going in with a powerful country, team on it, follow your allies, and stay together. It's a bit annoying when the allies slow you down the drain, though, and you get caught. That's the only thing that's going to cost me this war is poor planning, so I need to be on top of my game. There's no reason why we can't pick on France, who are suffering. We're just waiting for this Irish inevitable war to be done, and it's taking forever. Sieging takes a while. We're done with one part of the land. We're just waiting for the last part of Tyrone to fall. We'll hand that all to Ulster eventually. And then, yay, war with France. That comes up in part 2 of the England project on Europa Universalis, IV or 4. The Ottomans will get involved in this war, so we'll just see how it goes. I've been informed from Portugal, from my brother, that he'll be using the naval power in this rather than men landing for a foreseeable future because of his wars in Northern Africa wanting to preserve it, which is okay. I'm looking to utilise Austria with the Ottomans and also coming over to France, and me and Castile can hurt France from the south. That's kind of where I'm hoping this game will go. If it doesn't, then oh well. Our war's done nearly now with, well, the sieging bits of Tyrone. We got a little bit impatient, as you can see, but Europe is all about patience and opportunity, and I'm just a bit fearful that the opportunity's starting to slip away, and every month counts where France can and will regroup and become that little bit more powerful. We've got Tyrone under the powers now to be sold to Ulster. I've taken up all the land now. Ireland's coming along nicely. I feel like Ireland's won now. I feel like Ireland's just done as we head to France to declare war. Just waiting to sell the land with Ulster, so kind of want to be quick about this because I don't want to delay too much time to allow France to regroup as much as possible. That's really not an ideal situation. There we go. Selling all the lands to Ulster. Here's their liberty desire a little bit lower. It does make them a little bit more powerful, however, so just be wary of that. If you're handing too much territory to your vassals, it makes them powerful. But a powerful vassal is a powerful ally, so depends which way of the coin you're looking at it. But we're heading south now to France to send my men in. They're already in, ready and waiting for the inevitable war, which I'm going to declare right now, and we'll see you in the next part for that war. This has been JSGC 171. Tune in for then. Ciao for now.